This is 1 Samuel chapter 17, David and Goliath. One of the most important chapters of the whole entire Bible, let alone 1 Samuel. This is the most talked about story in the Bible, really. Jesus is pretty important in the New Testament. Moses is important in the Old Testament. Elijah is important. All the prophets are important. But David and Goliath, the young shepherd boy, taking a stone and killing Goliath, that's spoiler alert, but here we go. So in chapter 17, the Philistines are assembled at Judah, a place called Socoh, and they pitch a tent at Ephes Damim, and between Socoh and Ezekah. The Israelites are at the Valley of Elah. So there's two hills and a valley in between. They're both camped, and there's a battle line. They sent out a champion of Gath, the Philistines. His name's Goliath. He is a giant above everybody. Huge hero of the day. 6 cubits span, which I'll look that up. 6 cubits and a span is 10 feet tall. His armor weighed, his breastplate of bronze, it weighed 1,200 pounds, converted to pounds. And his spear alone weighed roughly around 150 pounds. And that's not his only weapon. He had a javelin on his back. He had a sword. He had a shield with a shield bearer in front of him. He was fully armored up. He looked intimidating. So when he came out and he stood at the battle line and he shouts at the ranks of Israel. So Goliath comes out in the battle line and he begins to taunt and challenge the Israelites, saying, "Who can face me? What man can face me?" Not one. He's got a lot of confidence. Not one of you is bold enough to come out to me. Let us fight. So the Israelites are terrified at Goliath's words. Everybody trembles. The 3 oldest of Jesse are at the battle line, and these are David's brothers. So for 40 days and 40 nights, nobody was bold enough to. Every single morning, Goliath comes out to taunt, and nobody does a thing. Nobody's bold enough. 40 days. So each day, their confidence is going down, and the Philistines know this. They're raising up their confidence. So at this point, so David goes back after being with Saul and being a musician for Saul. He goes back to his place at Bethlehem with Jesse to watch the sheep. So Jesse says the men need some food. The men need some bread and some cheese and some grain. So he packs up a donkey again and says, "Take these to the men, the warriors, to your brothers, to the supply of Saul." So he goes and he drops everything off at where they are, Valley of Elah. And he leaves supplies to go to the battle line and check everything out. And this is when Goliath comes out. This might be day 40, day 41. He says his usual routine. He starts taunting. And David has a fiery anger, trying to understand why everyone's allowing this to happen, defying the God of Israel. Who's going to do something about this? So some of the Israelites start to talk, and they say, "Do you see this? How this man keeps coming out? He comes out to defy Israel. How much will the king give great wealth to the one who conquers him?" So everyone's like, "Man, we might get his daughter in marriage, and we might get all these riches. We might be on top of the world." So David starts to ask questions. He says, instead of what they're asking, like, who's going to be the one, he says, what will be done for the man who kills the Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that comes against the God, the Almighty God, with curses on his people? And the men tell him, the men who are, there's rumors, tell him this is what it will become of great wealth and the daughter of Saul in marriage. So after hearing how much confidence that David had, Eliab burns with anger. His brother overhears him talking. And his brother goes, why have you come down here? Shouldn't you be with the sheep in the wilderness? I know how conceited you are and wicked you are, and your heart is. You have come just to witness this battle. And just accusations from his brother. David says, what have I done? Have I said, what have I done? Can I even speak? So David's like, can't get a break. But during this conversation, people start talking about David's confidence, and it's reached the ear of Saul. Saul sends for David. And David says, let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him. And Saul is taken back, says, you are only a young man. He is a warrior from youth. David says, your servant has been keeping my father's sheep. And when a lion comes and snatches one of the sheep, I go and I strike it. Or a bear, I go and I strike it. And just like this lion and bear went down by my hand, so will this Philistine go down. Was he telling the truth about the lion and the bear? Who knows, but that's pretty incredible. He was strong with the Spirit of God. He did say, he said, I seized its hair and struck it and killed it. Your servant has killed both a lion and a bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he defiled the armies of the living God. The Lord who rescues me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of the Philistines. So after this, Saul goes, you're the one. Just with the words and the confidence, his stature and being young and smaller than Goliath doesn't matter to Saul at this point, because he knows, Saul says, the God of Israel will be with you and your faith. So they start putting armor on him, and he starts walking around with all this armor. He's not used to it. He's never been invited to the line of battle like his brothers. So his brothers push him to the side as not a real man in their eyes. They don't really respect him. He says, I'm not used to this armor. I can't go out like this. I'll go out with a staff, with my sling, and 5 smooth rocks. So that's what he does. Saul says, okay. And talk about faith. After 40 days, nobody's doing this. He says, I'll do it. He goes out, and Goliath now is like, who is this? Am I a dog that you're throwing sticks to me? He says, who is this? Let me bring this one down and bring Israel's disgrace down. I'll give you to the flesh. I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals. And David says, you come at me with sword, spear, and javelin. I come at you with the living God of Israel that you have defiled. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands. I'll strike you down and cut off your head. This very day I will give the carcass of the Philistine army to the birds and the wild animals and the whole world will know that there is a God of Israel. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands. Everyone's like listening to this, like, dang, son. And David's words are more powerful than anybody has ever heard in the last 40 days. He's right there in the middle of it, him and Goliath. And Goliath comes closer, and David slings his sling around, and the rock knocks him down. Right down, Goliath goes, and David, without a sword in his hand, goes and strikes Goliath dead before he took the sword. Then he takes the sword and he cuts off his head. He brings that head back all the way to his tent. After he strikes him down, the Philistines all fear for their lives. They know the God of Israel is real, and they're terrified. All the way from Gath to Ekron, they run, and their bodies line the streets from the Israelites that are pursuing them. David keeps the prize of Goliath's weaponry, his javelin, spear, and sword, and probably shield and armor too, brings it back to the camp. And Saul is so surprised. Saul believed. Saul is curious. Who is this man? He goes to his commander, Abner, and he says, who is David? We need to find out where he comes from. So Abner goes to David, and David says, I am the son of Jesse from the land of Bethlehem. That's the end of 17. 18 is where David and Jonathan become best friends. Jonathan is Saul's son, King Saul's son. So that's where we leave off.